Dorian Concept. How you doing?
Good. We're at the Barbican just after the show with Cinematic Orchestra in motion. Movie nights in a way. So yeah, doing good.
So watching your old school YouTube videos with you on the Micro Korg and Alessis Micron, you look more than proficient on keys. So how did that come about? You like classically trained?
Actually, I'm pretty much self-taught. I had like piano lessons as a kid, like maybe from 6 till 12. So it was just that kind of thing. Always mention that, it's something that makes your parents happy when they kind of feel like they have a child that's learning something besides being good at Super Nintendo games. So just kind of had piano lessons slightly reluctantly to kind of the passion I had for other stuff. But still, I had piano lessons back then. But basically, I've started doing like jazz stuff on a self-taught basis around 15. And yeah, just ever since, been just kind of jamming away without real purpose or goal, so trying to find my own kind of way of playing the keys. So.
And you were playing with Tom Chant from the Cinematic Orchestra tonight. How was that? What was that set like?
Yeah, it's crazy, like, because I've known the Cinematic Orchestra also like ever since I was maybe 16 or something. It was one of the first kind of jazz-based, jazz and sample-based, because I kind of come from a hip-hop background, and it was one of the first kind of bands, or yeah, kind of electronic, musically electronic kind of thing that combined this sample-based jazz thing with live instrumentation. So it's crazy to play with Tom, who's also been there ever since like the first album, like Motion in '98 and stuff. So yeah, I know it's definitely crazy for me. So
you work with a lot of analog synths. How does that translate to the studio? Are you into any digital or MIDI stuff?
Yeah, I'm actually basically a very simple setup wise. I have basically, I don't really have, I use like some analog software stuff, but I don't really have like any crazy moves or anything at home, sadly. So yeah, the first synthesizer I bought was a Micro Korg that I've been recording the YouTube videos with and stuff. And right now this year I've been buying some new stuff. I got like a Wurlitzer now, bought like new synthesizer too, and so it's just important, I think in the end to have some fun equipment to work with and just kind of jam out on it. So.
Can we expect to hear them sounds in your new project then?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just trying to find a new aesthetic, because most of the recent productions have been based on kind of the Micro Korg, because it's I'm a kind of cheap guy when it comes to production. I try to get as much as possible out of one little instrument. So now I'm trying to switch it so the new material and the new stuff will show. Yeah, just kind of where I'm trying to go with it.
And what's it been like being involved with Brain Feeder and jamming with Flying Lotus, etc.?
Yeah, that's been great. I've known like Steve Flying Lotus for a while now. Like I think the first time we met was around 2007 when we played at the same festival in Belgium in Dour. And yeah, it's just crazy to go on shows with him, because he could sell out a show on a Tuesday somewhere in Latvia or something. Like people would come there and be there for like really attentive crowd, really into it. And whatever he does, he switches from Radiohead tracks or something to his own production. And so it's been amazing to kind of have just have the time together with him and Richard Spavin on tour. And yeah, definitely I hope like we did a whole festival, like we did a whole kind of European festival tour this summer, so maybe next year we'll do something again too. So.